Finally, the moment a couple of you have been waiting for.
It's all like bing bong, Jack.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Duval and St. Johns County. The show for Jag fans by Jag fans.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
Here are your hosts, Franklin and Michael how you say it? DeZoba. Welcome to the Jaggernaut Podcast. All right, thank you for joining us for another Jaggernaut Podcast. I'm Frank, that's Mike, and
Duval! Got my terrible washcloth.
Oh God, dude, what did you do that for?
I thought it was funny. It's like a mockery of the Steelers towel, right?
Yeah,
that's
true. I always hated that. It's like, it's funny. The subject came up on Discord about team names, and I'm thinking, there really isn't anything cool about a lot of stuff. Steeler fans waving their little towels. It's like, even us yelling Duval, we're yelling the name of the county.
But see, if you don't live here, you don't understand the way it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, so we were up in Philadelphia, and I tried to explain Duval to Candy's grandmother, right? And what I tried to explain, and it's really this: Jacksonville is the city of Jacksonville is really very small. It's literally on one side of the river, and it's probably what I would call one section of like Philadelphia's downtown. That's it. And hardly nobody lives in downtown. We all live spread out into the burbs, out into Duval County.
Right.
So we cheer Duval County, even though we're the Jacksonville Jaguars. So,
yeah, because technically, and if people, that's a good point, and it's funny, I never even thought of that. Maybe I did, and I just took it for granted so long.
Yeah, none of us live in Jacksonville city limits.
Well, no. We all do. That's the point. Because what you're saying's right, but it's not right. Because Jacksonville city limits was expanded to encompass all of Duval County, which is an odd thing, and most cities aren't like that. So.
See, I still thought it was the old way. Like when you put in your GPS.
Yeah.
Like you get to where I turn off, and it says you still have 10 more miles.
I know.
To go.
Even the signs say that, but it's all. Yeah, the Jacksonville, I think everything except for a sliver of the beaches is all actually technically Jacksonville city limits. And that's why if you look, Jacksonville is the largest city in the United States because it's the only one that's done anything like that. So
I thought
Duval
that was just Duval County. That's what I thought.
It does make sense. It does make sense. But so anyway, I guess let's talk about the Raven game, man.
All right, brother. I gotta eat my Raven.
Dude, I gotta eat more than you. I feel like because I was the one that because listen, I said I expected this to be the first loss where we weren't even in the game. So
that's true.
And that was and what's interesting, in fairness to my position, even though I'll gladly eat that crow or Raven in this case.
Doesn't it? I'll eat it.
Yeah, absolutely. It tastes great.
I said this is the first game we may end up
right now.
We may end up getting shut out. That was I'm like, we could end up getting shut out because I thought the Ravens defense was that good. And they were good.
Yeah.
Our offense was just better.
And I mentioned this. And this is what is very interesting about the game and about football generally speaking. I was kind of right in diagnosing the differences between the two games, but I wasn't right at all in regards to how it was going to turn out. What I saw, and the reason why I thought what I thought was, just to reiterate, is we made Kansas City, who I kind of consider to be a more of a finesse team, we made them look like the tough guys. And so I thought, yeah, that's just like us. We're not tough. That's been a theme running throughout the games, and it was a theme in this game against the Ravens. What was interesting was, despite that, we ended up winning the game. Because if you think about it, Um, there wasn't necessarily like we did a good job against the run for the Ravens. Other than that, we weren't tough against. We there wasn't any significant pressure by our defensive line. Um, the offensive line was stoned almost completely. Like Jamichael Hasty had his games out of the backfield passing or catching the ball. Um, and so when we ran, it was. I mean, how many times this year have we seen Doug think he can put our offensive line up in a jumbo style formation and that they'll get half a yard? They won't. They
Yeah,
won't.
that's true. And so it's funny because early on in the season, I'm screaming for the QB sneak. 1 yard out, that should be money every single time. And now it's turned into a trend for us.
Yeah,
We can't get an inch.
I know.
Like our offensive line isn't getting an inch. I don't know if it's the center because I know he's a rookie, so maybe he's still trying to figure that out. I don't know if Trevor needs to go over to the one of the guard slots and try to get in that way. I don't know. But we're not making it, and the entire rest of the NFL is using it, and they're succeeding with it. We're doing it wrong.
Yeah, on that, I actually okay. So there's a few different things, and we need to go positive because we've already gone negative, which is weird. I didn't expect the show to go this way. But on this point, I think what's going on is we are becoming our head coach, and his personality and philosophy. I've complained about this for some time now because it is a pattern. We are out of shotgun 90% of the time. So if you're going to show up in jumbo formation and actually just run up the gut, like you have to get half a yard and you look like that's all you're attempting to do, as a defense, I'm just going to sell out and try to stop that. And I'm going to take a chance that you're faking me out because I haven't seen you do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
when you put Trevor under center, I almost think you're saying, you know,
We're running. We're
yeah.
gonna run.
And so you're not actually putting your offensive line at an advantage. There's really no second guessing on the part of the defense. We run out of shotgun. Like we're out of shotgun so often that I think it's very difficult. And if you think about the bad plays that have transpired that are short yardage and they've actually run them out of shotgun, they run them laterally and then they get stopped. So the problem I see is that when they're under center, which is when you want to really direct, they know, okay, they're almost never under center, so we can just sell out to stop it. When they're in shotgun and they choose to run, then they're running laterally, and that gives the defenders, first of all, you're upfield. It's better visibility for the linebackers and the safeties to be able to see where you're going. When you run laterally, you're showing them flow whichever direction Trevor goes or the running back, and they just flow with it. And guess what? They're there. So I don't think it's. I think part of it's scheme. I think and the other part of it is there's a lack of toughness on this team. But let's go positive.
Yes, we won.
We won.
We
And the Raven eating the Raven tastes great because I was wrong. And it seems to me the
you were
reason I was
so
wrong
wrong.
was Trevor.
What?
Trevor.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Like he's the whole reason we won that game. I think it's
Yeah,
clear.
I refuse to eat any crow on that. I've been on Trevor this whole year. I was on Trevor when he got drafted. Still on Trevor. Now,
I doubt it.
I don't want to say this is his coming out party. I don't want to say the Jacksonville Jaguars have arrived. That is the roller coaster we get duped into. It is. Truth be told, we got to go to Detroit and we got to beat Detroit, right? This isn't an easy win for us. It's not same old Detroit. The Kansas City will look at it and be like, it's Detroit. Buffalo Bills will say, well, it's Detroit. We don't care. It's Detroit. We got to look at it like it's a Super Bowl. Like these guys are coming out to freaking headhunt us, and we got to beat them first because that's the type of team mentality that we got to play with because apparently either scheme or talent we're lacking in both of those. So anyway, kudos to Duval for winning. Go Jags. Woo!
I'll tell
That's
you
a hell
one
of a
thing.
win.
I'll
It's
tell
a
you
good
one
game.
thing. This will be a game on the heels of the Ravens game that can launch Trevor, because there's really no, when you think about the two teams, there's really no reason why Trevor should struggle. The offense shouldn't struggle. First of all, we haven't struggled moving the ball on pretty much anybody, at least at times in the games. There's been times
Right.
where we have, but that's just the NFL. But the thing is that this defense, this Detroit Lion defense, is not very good. So we should be able to move the ball. What we should be expecting at this point is a real shootout, because we know darn well our defense is about the same as Detroit's is. It shouldn't be that way. Our defense should be a lot better than Detroit's because of the players that it on paper we have. But if things are as they are, and so we shouldn't expect anything different. And I think this is going to should be a fun game to watch. It should be a lot of scoring going on their part and ours, and it's going to come down, I think, to, we haven't been out of any game, so there's no reason to expect Detroit's defense to stiffen up and stop us from moving the ball. It'll be a high-scoring game, and it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and we just had a great fourth quarter, so this is a really good opportunity for us to continue that sort of momentum. I don't know how that'll translate. What do we do? Titans next? I think Titans is the next game. So that's going to be a really interesting game, and I hope that the team isn't looking forward or ahead of Detroit, and the fact that Detroit is on a winning streak. Who did they play last? Was it I forget, but anyway.
All I know, it could have been the Bears. and I mean, I don't know. I don't know who they played last, but I'll agree with you. Their offense is good. Their defense is suspect. However, what I think is what it's going to come down to. I think we have the better quarterback. I don't like Jared Goff. I don't think Jared Goff is a good quarterback. I think if you can rattle him, again, we got to get a pass rush, but it's not going to happen. Or it might. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, we have a chance, and I think this game can set us up. If we can win in Detroit, it can set us up for a game that could launch the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's beating the Titans in Tennessee. If we can get on a roll, right? Yeah, we ain't done it since like 2013.
I tell you what, man, our hair will be on fire.
But if we can get on a roll, I think this
city will be nuclear.
Could potentially launch the Jacksonville Jaguars. It could potentially launch Trevor Lawrence to that. Okay, that's why they drafted him as the first overall QB. You know, that's what that looks like. So our defense, I don't know that there's hope for it. I will say,
I think there's hope for it.
Hold on. I have to eat some Raven. Wingard, I have been on you. Last year I was on you. I was on you at the start. I didn't know why they kept you. Dude, you came out and balled. Congratulations, man. I'm sorry. You balled that game.
This is the second time you've had to eat some crow for Dewey, isn't it? Why don't you stop calling people out?
No, sure. Why? If you have a bad performance, you deserve to be called out. Let's stop treating these men like princesses.
Yeah.
They need to come out and they need to be like, I suck. I had a chance to win the game. I dropped the ball. It was a beautiful pass. I dropped it.
Yeah, people like Dewey now. That's what's funny about it. He's
becoming a favorite.
Yeah, because I mean, when they bring him in, he makes plays, just like Muma. You know, I didn't see any linebackers out of place this game.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
Yeah,
well, I mean, and everybody loved Devin Lloyd coming in.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, man. You want to shake things up, man. I really wish they ought to have put Lloyd on the line at some point because Josh Allen ain't getting there. He ain't getting home.
That's what I'm saying. They need to move Walker over beside Allen and then put Lloyd in Walker's place. That's
That's
what,
just
and
a
then
shame, man. I could have swore Josh Allen was a lock, man. I could have swore he was a lock. Like, we finally got a good one, man. And it's like, what in the world is he doing out there? And I know it's part of its scheme. Like, I see them dropping him back a lot, but man, he's got plenty of opportunities too, and he is just not. Him and Lloyd, man, it just like. Anyway, I don't want to make it a negative show. I do think that things can turn around in a hurry, and I think that's always the hope. In regards to your point about the roller coaster, I think anybody who watches football knows this. They know that it's possible to get things turned around, and who knows if this was a spark that could have done it. I know they're implementing a different defensive system. There's some bits, parts, and pieces that they're trying to get worked out, and maybe maybe something will happen. I think it's a talented group. It's weird. Like, you watch them play, and you're like, we shouldn't be this bad.
that is right. Why are we getting beat this bad?
And that's why Caldwell keeps coming back as the, kind of like, what is he doing? You've got a lot of guys out there, and yet they're not performing. So I don't know.
Mainly his linebackers, from a linebacker coach and a linebacker player.
Yeah, yeah. But the defensive line, and it's tough on a 3-4. I mean, yeah, it's fair because I think the interior of our defensive line has been stout enough. You don't expect quarterback pressures. What they've been doing has been fine. What the secondary's been doing has been fine, apart from the weakness at corner that we all know is there, and we understand why. The linebackers are an enigma.
Yeah, and I thought Hamilton had a really good game too.
Yeah,
he showed up. So congratulations to him.
Well, and it's funny too because we thought going into this that we were light on defensive tackle, and the coaches seem to differ with everybody, and yet it still seems like we're light on defensive tackle because if we had and that's why I keep saying, man, put Walker in there, man. Put him in the rotation, bring Lloyd in, and just let him rush the passer. I mean, Dallas does that with Micah Parsons. So, I mean, and everybody compared him to Micah Parsons. So just let him, and that's what Micah Parsons does. Like, sometimes you got to, how many times we talk about Trevor? Run him. Start the game. Let him take a little hit. Let him get a little run. Get prime the pump.
Get him settled down.
With Lloyd, let him get upfield some. I think that might be his issue. They've got him playing this intricate sort of zone man coverage thing, and I think he's got a number of things going through his head. He looks slow. He looks unaware of what's going on. Remind him it's football. Get him going upfield and hitting some people, and maybe he'll change everything. Maybe he'll change his trajectory. That's what I'm thinking. But who knows? Maybe they'll make that change. Maybe they won't. But in this game, it doesn't matter.
It is possible. And so check this out. So we're 3 games back at Tennessee. Tennessee plays the Eagles. Not a tough out. Like the Eagles can beat Tennessee in Philadelphia. Right? Then we turn around and we play Tennessee. That's what I'm saying. If we can beat Tennessee, we literally take the reins. We're still a game back at that point, but we take the reins on our own destiny. We don't need Tennessee's help. We don't need Houston's help. We don't need anybody's help. We can do it from that point on. And I sort of like that. I like the fact that here it is in December, and while we're not technically mathematically eliminated and we're still back, there's a chance.
I have to agree with people that this looked like a coming out party for Trevor. And I understand your fear of the roller coaster ride. I really do. But I'm going to embrace it. And like what we saw from him was what we have been waiting for. And we've seen glimpses here and there, but if you just think about what we saw, he went down the field in crunch time. He willed them into the end zone, then had to do it again and did it again against a playoff team. That means something. And I think remember too that I know we have that cloud over us because we're the Jags, but all of us are also football fans and we watched this game for a long time and we've seen that before in other places. That's what the greats do. And I'm not saying he's going to be one of the greats, but I'm saying we've always thought it's possible because of his trajectory getting into the league led us to that opinion. And what I'm saying is it's logical that what we could have just witnessed was the light switch went on. And now it's never, I mean, you're always going to have ups and downs. So I'm never going to say expect that all the time. That's, even the greats don't do that. But we should expect more of that now. And that can change everything. And so I am on board with that. Like, I do feel that way. And when we were celebrating, it's like, man, this is what it used to feel like when we had a professional football team, man.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's great, man. And you cannot tell me you haven't seen that in the reactions, like or that the football players haven't felt that too. And imagine everybody's behind, everybody believes. It's a big thing, man. When you're confident, it all of a sudden the ball bounces your way. Remember them talking about, the shucky darn, the ball didn't bounce our way. And and I've been on them about that. But now when you're confident, those balls tend to bounce your way because I don't know why, but you're just moving forward instead of backwards, and the ball moves with you. So I think I'm with them. I'm saying it now. It's funny because you probably go back like 4 episodes maybe, and I was just questioning whether Trevor could even, like, I can't remember how I phrased it or how I felt at the time. Like I was questioning whether he would even be a decent quarterback, probably. And now after seeing that, I'm like, okay, he can be. I'm not saying he will be, but he can be one of the really good quarterbacks. And he looked like that, and he looked like that for a significant enough amount of time in a specific scenario that makes me think, the arrow just really got hot pointed up. And so this year, who knows? Like, I don't know what that means for this year, but right. I feel good about the overall franchise now. And that's important.
You were stating, as football fans, we've seen the game for years. How hard is it to find a franchise QB?
It's super hard.
Yes. And we may have just found one. We may have seen one finally grow.
Yep.
Up until the point. Now, again, because I'm so tired of the roller coaster, I'm tempering expectations. I want to see Detroit. I want to see Tennessee and Tennessee. These next 2 games, win or lose, I don't care if they win or lose. I mean, of course I care. I would like them to win both. But I want to see us continue to play well. I want to see Trevor continue this elevated play. I want to see our line at some point push somebody. Just move somebody, right? That's all I'm asking for. I want to see our defensive line get a sack. Just get a sack. We got Jared Goff. Now, the guy doesn't run at all. Like, he doesn't run at all. We should be able to nail him. So go get him. Make the story that the Jags just got 6 sacks on Detroit. Make that the story, not Aiden Hutchinson versus Walker.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are my thoughts. That's what I think. I think we have, and I thought this for sure for a long time, that we've gotten our guy.
I
And I think we got our guy.
I could never say that, but I mean, and I've said this before, so anyone who's watched other shows or knows me knows I've never been one to say that I can understand the quarterback or see the quarterback or know I can't see some prospect and go, oh, that guy's going to make it. That's always been a bit of a blind spot for me when I watch football. It's like I can tell a rocket arm from a noodle arm, but other than that, I can't really tell much about what makes a great quarterback. But obviously, Trevor had the career trajectory, the amateur career trajectory that you look for. And so there was the dice were loaded, so you had to roll the dice. Still doesn't mean you're gonna, not get snake eyes or whatever, which is what Jags do. So, yeah, so I wasn't ever thinking for sure he was going to be great. But what I will say is this: that sure did change my mind. I I felt that way, and it
Oh,
wasn't that
buddy,
I'm.
buddy, we're in to change you little by little over the long haul. We're playing the long game. The long game.
Yeah, well, that got me confident about the long game. It
Woo!
did. It's like, okay, this guy's he could be good. He could be the man. He could be the guy that we've
Yeah.
been waiting for to change the way. And here, I was just thinking about this while you were talking too, because we've seen guys in the league have sort of more of an instant success. I've know there's quarterback. There's different styles of quarterback. Lamar Jackson is the perfect example of one. He's the type of quarterback that I don't think offensive coordinators love, because he's an improviser. He's not. So when it comes to game plans and putting things together, I think Trevor's the opposite of that. I think he's the type of guy that a offensive coordinator and staff want to load the whole playbook on his shoulders and go, oh, he could do all this. Whereas I think somebody like Lamar, they're going to tailor it down more to suit his style because he's an improviser. You're not going to have all these intricate route trees because
Because you don't need them.
you don't need them. In
Yeah,
a
you don't
way,
need
it's
'em.
positive, but in a way, it's negative. And what I'm getting at is that maybe with Trevor, because because he can do all these things, maybe the result of maybe him being good is going to take longer because he's got all this. He's got all this playbook and all these staff attempting to do all these different things that maybe other quarterbacks don't. And so maybe we're frustrated because we're not seeing the results that we want to see because other quarterbacks are doing it, other teams are doing it, but maybe they are playing the long game in a way. It's naturally the long game because you actually have not just the franchise quarterback, but the type of old school franchise quarterback that you can do. Because back in the day, it wasn't instant. You had to get quarterbacks acclimated to the league, and it took 2 to 3 years to do that. And we got used to seeing these guys just come in and boom. But we also always knew, even at that the coaches were tailoring and they were scaling down to get the quarterbacks to not overload them to get that result. And then gradually adding the playbook. And I'm just wondering, if there's something to that. And maybe our frustration has been not that Trevor couldn't do it, but that we've just come accustomed to seeing it done a different way with all the quarterbacks who don't have all the tools that Trevor does. And so we've been impatient.
And that's quite possible because Lord knows we want to win. We've been thrown out. We've been thrown out with the bathwater. Like we have. I mean, that's all we've ever asked for is a competitive football team where it matters toward the end of the season. Okay. We're getting close. We're getting close. And that's what I'm saying. These next two games,
Yeah.
they can be season defining games, but it is up to the men that wear this patch to show up and beat the man in front of them. If they do that, I think the fire that will be lit from the fan base perspective, man, we get a bad rap around the NFL for being like fair weather laissez-faire fans.
Yeah.
Truth is, we hate shit teams, and we've been one for quite a while. So it's like, it's the Jags. It's the Jags. It's the Jags. Watch, if they win these next two games, watch this city.
Mm-hmm.
This city will erupt like the volcano in Hawaii. Will just be spewing Jags all over the place.
Yeah.
So, and it's a good feeling. It's a feeling we ain't had here in a very long time.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, it's just one of those things where, once it's the fan base and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been maligned for no reason because you only have your pocketbook. That's the only way you can talk to the team. And it's a fan base that's knowledgeable. We understand football. That's the thing. You go around, you talk to people. People know football in this town, and you can't sell them garbage and tell them it's not garbage. They know it's garbage, and the people that are there that have been loyal are loyal to for the sake of loyalty. I mean, that's all it is. They're like, I'm just going to be the Jag fan that's loyal, even though I know they're garbage. And then I'll be there and I'll say it's great when they turn around. Great for them. I'm
All right,
absolutely
Frank, hey,
happy.
Detroit, we go in as a 1-point dog. So that's Vegas saying that this game is close, which is what we think it is. Detroit is not a pushover.
Right.
Detroit is going to come out. They're going to try to punch us in the mouth. They're going to try to beat us up. Now, what are your feelings on the game?
Like I don't know. I'm not going to say whether it's going to be a win or loss at this point. My feelings on the game are it's going to be close. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high scoring affair. And that's as much as I can say about it. I don't expect our defense to turn it around and stop Detroit. Detroit's a great offense. They've got a lot of weapons, and I don't think we're going to really be able to stop them too much. I would say we may do better against Williams than Swift. I expect probably Swift's the type of running back to give us problems, and Williams won't.
Especially out of the backfield.
Exactly. And that'll be against our linebackers who now, and they played better this week. So I think because if Detroit was coming here, I'd almost think we could really all of a sudden get a game where we may blow the doors off Detroit if it was here because of the momentum swing that I feel like the team has, that the confidence going in. But I think that Detroit's a savvy enough team, and they've got their coach is a good coach, and they're at home. So I think I wouldn't be shocked maybe if we came out and put some points up pretty fast, and we're hoping our defense would do something, and then Detroit would come back, and then it would kind of be a dogfight. It's something like that. That's the way it's going to go down. It'll come down to the fourth quarter, and I'm hoping Trevor does his.
Do you think it's a fair comparison for Aiden Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker? Number 1 and number 2 pick this year.
You got to compare. You got to.
Have you looked at their stats?
No.
Outside of basically 2 sacks, their stats are almost identical.
Well, here's the thing. I don't expect Aiden Hutchinson to lose to Walker, and we said this before they ever played it down.
Right.
In sacks, okay. Different players. You drafted them for different reasons. I will say this: they finally called a holding penalty on the linemen
Baltimore. Hmm.
that are holding. Trayvon's been held a lot, and they're not calling it. If they start calling that, you may see a different amount of stats begin to pile up because, I think at this point the book has been out. You can just hold the guy. I don't think he's dynamic enough with his moves to accentuate those holds, and I think that's what's going on. So I don't know. I'm worried about him because I still don't see any moves. Like I don't really understand how you're a professional at your craft and you're not trying spin moves and swim moves at this point. I see them doing the moves for practice against tackling dummies. I don't see him doing it in the game. I see him putting his hands on the shoulders and pushing the guy upfield, bull rushing. I mean, until he stops doing that, until he shows other things on film, I don't think you're giving these defenders anything to worry about. Just get low center of gravity and hold on and slow you up and hold if they have to. That's the game plan. And I wouldn't change a thing.
You think Aiden Hutchinson gets a sack in this game?
No.
I think they manufacture one. I think they absolutely manufacture one, and I think he does certainly gets one. And it's like a look at who we picked. That's what I think because I don't think Walker's going to get a sack in this game.
It's hard to say because the people behind Aiden Hutchinson aren't good, and that's one of his issues. I think he's a good player, but I don't think the defenders behind him are that good. So I honestly don't think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities. I think our offensive line can't run block very well, but especially in short yardage situations. But they
do well.
They can pass block well.
Yeah,
so
I'm not poo-pooing our line. I think our line has been pretty decent this year. I don't have any. If I have one complaint, it's against short yardage push. We don't really have it. Other than that, I don't have any complaints. So. Does it bother you about ETN?
What part? That he got hurt?
That he got hurt.
Well, I'm starting him on my fantasy team this week, if that's any indication. I mean, no, I believe what they say. I believe that it was the same foot. He went into the locker because of that. He came back out. When he came back out, he had his helmet on. I don't know if you remember that. He had his helmet on and then he had it off. So that tells me, and I know coaches say things that aren't true, but every indication I got was,
if you needed to, you could have.
Yeah. I think they were being overly cautious with him, and that was all there was to it. I think so. This week he's limited in practice, and what that tells me is he's part of the game plan because he's not full go,
out, right?
But he's being implemented into the game plan, so he knows what the plan is. That means he's going to be used. They're just giving him this week to rest to make sure the foot's good to go. So,
all right, Frank, who wins? Tell us who wins. Well,
I gotta go Jags, man. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy in, man. Maybe it's just me being thirsty, but.
I'm going Jags too. I'm going
Why
Jags.
Why not, man? If you can't buy in now, you can't buy in any. I don't want to be that fan,
On a late field goal.
I know we're jaded Jags fans, and I get that, but we deserve it to a certain extent. But I don't like playing victim. I mean, forget that crap. I want a team that's good, man. I call out badness because it shouldn't be there. I don't want to wallow in it. It's like, okay, good. We finally got something. We got momentum. We can ride. Let's ride this puppy. Let's do it. Now, when it comes to the Titans game, if we win, I may change my tune next week, but right now, there's no reason why we can't beat Detroit. Like, there's no reason why. Now, there's no reason to suggest that we should beat Detroit. Like that's a given. No, it's definitely not a given, but it's a close call. And if Vegas says anything, that means we're the better team because they give Detroit 3 points for the home field advantage, and they're only 1 point ahead. So that tells us, that tells me that they think we're a better team. So let's do it. But
not by much.
Let's win.
Yeah. Let's go, Jags. Woo!
All right. So I think we covered about everything, and we'll
We'll see
Wrap
everybody
it up.
back here next week after our visit to Detroit Rock City.
You want to end with a Duval?
Sure. They deserve that. The boys deserve that.
That's what I was
You
thinking.
ready? All right. Give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Duval!